Today, as we begin this series of conversations that is all about our practicum on the topic of intentional manifestation, we will begin with an exercise. But before we start that exercise, we want to lay out the basis of this series of conversations. The basic metaphysics are this. You sit at the very center of your physical universe. All of it emanates from your intention. Everything that you are experiencing is arising as a response to what it is that you have decided you will have. Now, whatever this is and whatever this may be, it's all exactly right here, right now for you. This physical universe is indeed emanating from the intentions that you are setting. It is a progression, it is an evolution, and it is a manifestation not only of your thought, but of what underlies your thought, which is the expression and expansion of the unconditional love that you are. Every piece and part, every bit and byte of this physical universe is here to help you. It is much more aligned with you than you are aligned with it, and that's exactly right. You have created the diversity of experience of this physical manifestation, of this physical reality, for the purpose of having a delicious, diverse, stratified, and contrast-filled experience. The most obvious contrast, of course, is the difference between color, like red or orange or yellow or green, or the difference between salty flavors and sweet flavors, or smooth textures and pebbly textures, what it feels like to hold someone in your arms or to be held by someone, what it feels like to be face to face with someone that you very much adore and face to face with someone that you very much do not adore. What it feels like to be under a cloudy sky and what it feels to be under a bright blue sky. What it feels like to be in the winter and what it feels like to be in the summer. This is not a place of polarities or dualities, it's a place of variety and diversity. Almost all of your experiences have some sort of scale to them. And almost all of your experiences arise because of the contrast of an experience that you had in the past. So that's where we begin with our exercise today. We want to invite you to notice the contrast that is happening in your life that either you like or dislike. And you might even take a piece of paper and on one side of the paper put things I like, and on the other side of the paper put things I don't like. And just begin to list what they are. Now you might be thinking, well, this is a very dangerous thing to be doing, thoughts being what they are. If I start noticing things that I don't like, I'm going to get more of them. What we're really doing here is not sort of a rampage of appreciation for what you don't like, because if we were, that would actually lead you to something very different than what this will do. What that would lead you to actually would be more of what you do like, because the more appreciation you give to anything, the more you bring it into the wanted column of your experience. And in other words, that's how you transform things that you don't like into things that you do like, is you appreciate what it is. In other words, you find its helpfulness inherent. But what this exercise is a bit different. We just want you to get into the habit of noticing what you like and what you don't like. You may already be in this habit, but many of you have spent a very long time learning how to placate things you don't like, instead of just taking them for what they are, and realizing that the contrast of something that you don't like is there to help you have more of what you do like. Now, in making this list, we wouldn't suggest that you put it in any sort of permanent binding. We would suggest that you just take a scrap of paper or any piece of paper that you're happy to throw away once you're done with its usefulness, and just make 2 columns, things I like and things I don't like. As you do this exercise, one thing that might happen is that you might actually discover that listing some of the things that you don't like helps you notice things you do like. It also might very well be that you might discover that listing things that you do like helps you identify things you don't like. Now, let us be very clear. Our position on this is very singular. All that you're doing here is paying attention. You're not actually, really, truly engaging too terribly much in any intentional manifestation by doing this. You're just generating the capacity, a very profound capacity, to pay attention to what you like and to pay attention to what you don't like, for all the purposes of what it brings forth. On the one hand, noticing the things that you like gives you an opportunity to bring focus to them and attention to them, because you're going to like thinking about the things you don't like because of the fact that, in fact, you do like them. In other words, you have an affinity or an appreciation or some sort of admiration, some sort of esteem for these things, experiences, people, situations, circumstances. And the things that you don't like, the entire purpose of writing 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 20 of these down is to notice their presence. There's not anything else to be done here. It might lead you to some other exploration, but for the purposes of our exercise, we're just suggesting that you take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On one hand, write things I like, and on the other hand, write things I don't like, and then fill out the paper. And just notice what happens. As you notice what happens, one of the things that you're going to notice is that you are, first of all, the one who is making these decisions. And they're the right decisions. It's okay to not like things you don't like, and of course it's perfectly okay, although this is never really a question, to like things you do like. In other words, it's perfectly wonderful to be in admiration and appreciation and alignment with things for which you have great admiration and appreciation and which you feel an alignment for. There might be 1 or 2 of these things where you're thinking, I really shouldn't like this because of what I think it means, as though you're committing some sort of great sin. But then again, you might very much enjoy the idea of committing some great sin, because this is just a piece of paper between you and you. No one need see this. Our other suggestion here, as you're doing this exercise, is to notice whether or not it's easy for you to admit that you don't like something. Some of you may be very well practiced at this, and some of you may be not. One of the things that you will discover is what it is that you are actually creating through your like and dislike. The dislike, of course, gives you an opportunity to find things you do like. And what you do like, of course, creates more of it. If you're approaching this process, if you're approaching this workshop, if you're processing your thoughts in such a way that what you're doing is trying to make sure that you never get anything you don't like, you're not going to do very well here. Because this is not a series of exercises that is about trying to get rid of anything. This is about turning your intention and attention in the direction of what it is that you do indeed actually want. This is what this series of conversations is about. It's about the intentional manifestation of your desire, not the intentional destruction of the things you don't like. You don't have to worry about those things. They will present enough contrast for you to make new decisions to where your attention will be turned away from them and towards the things that you actually do like, the things that really do feel very much in alignment with you. This is also not a series of conversations about how to get you to change who you are so that you can become in alignment with an idea. You are already aligned with the perfect idea, the you that you are, and the you that you are becoming. And anything that you are creating is actually specifically designed to come into alignment with the truth of who you are, not in spite of that truth, but because of it. Our suggestion today is that as you do this little exercise, maybe spending 5 minutes at the most on it, maybe doing it once or twice, perhaps 3 times, we wouldn't suggest that you keep the piece of paper unless you want to journal about the things that you experienced. But we really would not suggest that you try to make this any sort of big deal. It's just a very simple, very straightforward, very plain way of discovering how it is that you are able to determine alignment in the form of like and resistance in the form of dislike. We're not intending to help you cure resistance. We're intending to help you understand how every bit, byte, piece, and part of your physical reality is helping you, and how that is happening already right now today. And there's not anything that you need do or make different in order to have this experience. Something wonderful is happening, and you're in the middle of it already. And this series of conversations, it is our intention that they will help you more clearly decide for what it is that you actually want. Let that happen to your benefit and on your behalf, and bring into play, into manifestation, the very things that you do indeed desire. It's not about fixing you because you're not broken. It's not about discovering some sort of hidden depth that may be keeping you from having what you're wanting, because all of these things are quite obvious. You just may not be accustomed to paying attention to them. So as you do this little exercise today, we just invite you to notice how easy it is to identify what you like and what you don't like, and to notice what arises as a result of doing this. Again, maybe once or twice or thrice, and maybe 5 minutes at the most. Not a big deal, just an exercise, just an inquiry into noticing. And so, until the next time that we are able to speak with you, we thank you very much indeed, for allowing yourself through this series of conversations to actually have what it is that you actually intend. And until the next time that we are able to speak with you, we do bid you a very fond farewell.